The country of Turkey has cut off relations with Israel entirely. According to Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, we have cut trade ties with Israel, period. While this isn't good news, it should come as no surprise since Turkey has been a vocal critic of Israel long before the October 7th attack last year. In 2005, when Erdogan first came to power, he wanted to have a positive relationship, or so he said, and he did throw little jabs at Israel for their treatment of the people in Gaza. But in 2010, after Israel attacked a Turkish-led convoy of humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza, then Erdogan just let the cat out of the bag and started vocally condemning the country. And his contention against the country has been the same for those 20 years, the mistreatment of the people in Gaza. And that's ironic given the fact that Erdogan still didn't apologize to what they did to the Armenians over 100 years ago. And of course, the consistent mistreatment and marginalization of the Kurdish people who make up a large minority in Turkey. Erdogan does not care about the people of Gaza. He cares about having regional influence, and he wants to be part of this big three, which is now mainly the big two: Iran and Saudi Arabia. Both these countries have the greatest amount of influence over what happens in the Middle East, and of course, Erdogan wants a piece of that action. The easiest way to do that is to gain favor with the Arab world and vocally criticize everything Israel does. Condemning Israel left and right obviously makes Iran much more friendly to you and gives you a more pragmatic view to the Saudi Arabians, even though they may not fully agree. Erdogan can justify making whatever concessions to NATO that he has to if he just has one bad guy to constantly condemn. You could say whatever you want about President Erdogan, but he knows how to read the pulse of the time and can match it accordingly. In 2005, the Arab world pretty much okay with Israel. So yeah, Turkey is like, hey, let's do this. Let's be friends. 2010, that Israeli blockade hit. Everyone in the Middle East was kind of like, hey, that's not cool. Erdogan's like, okay, we send a flotilla. We know something bad's going to happen. Boom, he gets more street cred by criticizing Jerusalem. I mean Tel Aviv at the time. And this has happened a couple times over the past 14 years. And I'll bet you money that this most recent declaration of severing all ties with Israel is some kind of leverage that Erdogan can maneuver with current President-elect Donald Trump. The Turkish economy has not been doing well for well over a decade. Inflation year on year is at 50%. But of course, this is Recep Tayyip Erdogan. He doesn't ask for help. He makes demands and offers concessions if they're met. But the really tricky thing is, how far is President Erdogan willing to go to push on this issue? Will he start to take military steps short of all-out war? If something like that happened, it would be disastrous because no NATO country has ever attacked such a staunch ally as Israel. Now, I don't think Turkey will ever attack Israel directly just because that would be Turkey's death knell. They would most likely get kicked out of NATO, they would lose a lot of funding, and as much as Turkey likes to talk nice with Russia, Turkey is afraid of Russia, or at least Erdogan and the Turkish government are terrified of Russia. Russia is one of the three countries that have taken the most territory from Turkey when it was under the Ottoman Empire. The other two were France and the British Empire. So the severing ties with Israel, especially due to humanitarian reasons, is probably something that makes even Erdogan himself laugh. I am the Geo Husar. Click all of my links. Thanks for watching.